cops pulled a gun on my wife. 3 patrol cars, 5 officers, and our HOA president, Brenda, standing out front with the smuggest victory smile you've ever seen. She thought she'd finally won, thought my wife Maya was just another ordinary housewife who'd break down and beg for mercy. But you know what? Brenda had no clue. She'd picked the one person in this neighborhood you should never, ever mess with. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the ones who smile and nod, that you need to watch out for. And man, Brenda was about to learn that the hard way. Let me tell you, this started over a navy blue chair and a patch of grass, and it ended with the most beautiful case of neighborhood justice I've ever witnessed. My name's David. 6 months back, Maya and I moved into what we thought was our dream home. Green lawn neighbors who waved. The whole thing felt like some 1950s postcard version of suburbia. Kids riding bikes, property values going up every year, friendly faces at the mailbox. We thought we'd made it, you know? Architects of our own little slice of happiness. Until we met Brenda. Brenda, the architect of our misery, president of the HOA, queen of her tiny fiefdom, always in yoga pants and always somehow everywhere at once. First time I met her, I was on the porch admiring this beautiful navy blue bench wedding gift from Maya's parents, handcrafted oak deep blue cushion that made our White House pop. I was honestly just soaking it in when I heard the sharp tap, tap, tap of heels on the driveway. There she was with that smile that says, "I'm pretending to be friendly, but you better watch yourself." Did she say welcome to the neighborhood? Nope. She points straight at the bench. That color isn't on the approved palette from our 2011 design standards. She had a laminated chart ready to go. Not a single blue in sight. I tried to explain about the wedding gift, but she shut me down. Fast rules are rules, and she wasn't about to let our sentimental bench ruin her aesthetic consistency. She kept glancing at Maya too, who just happened to be out there in an old military t-shirt watering the flowers. Brenda, with a little smirk, asks Maya if she's playing soldier or if she actually served. Maya smiled polite as ever, said she'd worked with the military for years, but I could see something flicker in her eyes, something Brenda missed entirely. Wanting to keep the peace. I lugged the bench into the garage, feeling like I was back in grade school getting scolded. Brenda gave a satisfied nod and strutted off, mission accomplished. That night, Maya just said, "Sometimes the boat needs rocking, David." The question's when and how. I should have known right then that Maya was already planning filing away every move Brenda made. Next morning, Brenda hit the whole neighborhood with a friendly reminder email about community standards, complete with photos of violations, one suspiciously similar to our bench. Maya read it and laughed. She's establishing dominance. Intimidate the newbies so nobody else steps out of line. I asked how she knew, and she just shrugged. You pick up a few things working around people who understand psychology. There was always something mysterious about Maya's work, but honestly, I was too busy stressing over lawn length to push. A week later, Brenda dropped the big one. New rule: everyone had to use the approved landscaping service on $300 a month to keep the grass precisely 2.5 inches. No DIY allowed. You could smell the scam from across the street. The service was Brenda's brother-in-law, and with 60-plus homes, that was a gold mine. When I tried to protest, Brenda herself picked up the HOA hotline, dripping fake sweetness, telling me compliance isn't optional. The next morning, orange violation sticker on the door, $200 fine, even though our grass was measured perfect. That's when I realized this wasn't about rules, it was a racket, and Brenda was running the show with her husband Rick as silent enforcer. Now Rick was something else, retired cop, always lingering just far enough away, always watching. Every time Maya worked out in the yard, Rick was there pretending to walk his dog, always in line of sight. Maya just grinned. He's trying to figure me out. Her workouts weren't just squats and jogging either. She was doing actual self-defense, pressure points, weird angles with brooms and garden tools. When I asked about it, she just said, "It's good to stay sharp." I should have guessed there was a story there, but again, I was just trying to keep our fines under control. Then came the surveillance. The next violation came with photos, close-ups of Maya's aggressive poses, supposedly disturbing to neighbors. Another $300. Maya studied the photos and said, "Perfect angles. Whoever took these knew what they were looking for." I started documenting everything, emails, notices, the works. Maya nodded. "Good. Evidence is everything. But you're not just collecting, you're building a case. Then she said, they're escalating faster than they should. Most HOAs slow walk things. Brenda's desperate or she's hiding something. Either way, this is personal. That's when I started realizing my wife wasn't just a military contractor. She was trained for this kind of battle. And she wasn't intimidated. She was focused. One Saturday, Maya cranked her workout up to 11. From the window, I saw Rick posted up with binoculars looking rattled. Maya worked through combat moves, weapons training, everything you'd expect from a Hollywood action movie. She finished, came inside, and calmly said, "He's going to make his move today. Are you ready?" Before I could answer, cop cars rolled up. 3 units, 5 officers, Rick giving orders like he was still on the force. Maya answered the door like she was welcoming Girl Scouts. The cops said they'd had reports of weapons dangerous activity. Maya didn't blink. "Can you tell me who filed the complaint?" "What exactly are you looking for?" She let them in, showed them around, explained her background in tactical training, never defensive, never angry, just professional. The senior officer caught on quick. "What branch did you work with, ma'am?" Maya answered, "Special operations. I'm a contractor and instructor." You could see the mood shift. The officer pulled me aside, said, "Your wife. She's got the look of someone who's seen action. If someone's harassing her, let them know they're making a mistake." After they left, Maya turned to me, dead serious. "David, you need to know who you married, because they're going to escalate again, and I don't want you caught off guard." She pulled out her laptop, showed me photos her in full tactical gear, training groups of soldiers, teaching special ops how to handle high-stress situations. Read threats, stay alive. She looked me in the eye and said, "Brenda just threatened the person who teaches the Navy SEALs how to handle threats." I asked, "Why didn't you ever tell me?" She said, "Because most of it's classified, and the rest is dangerous for civilians to know. I kept you out of it to keep you safe." There was pain in her voice, a story about losing a student in a training accident, about never letting her guard down with people she loved, about drawing lines between her worlds. It hit me hard. Now, she said, "We can't fight Brenda on her turf. We have to make her step outside the system, force her to overplay her hand." Maya laid out a plan, intelligence gathering, tracking every violation, every sketchy contract. Turned out Brenda was funneling tens of thousands through the landscaping scam, paying off the board, and Rick was using his old police connections for harassment. We pulled together evidence, called for an emergency board meeting, me thinking logic and truth would win the day. Big mistake. The board was in Brenda's pocket, every single one on her payroll, kids with jobs free, fence upgrades, you name it. They didn't just know about the embezzlement, they were living off it. Brenda smiled, let the silence hang, and hit me with the max fine for defamation. I left beaten and humiliated. Maya just shook her head. "You tried playing by their rules, but their rules were made to protect themselves. Now we make our own." The next week, Maya turned up the pressure workout, so tactical and precise that Rick could barely contain himself. Cameras everywhere, recording everything, baiting Rick and Brenda to escalate, all of it legal, all of it set up to catch them crossing the line. Maya even set up obvious training targets, detailed diagrams, the works, just enough to trigger a reaction, but nothing illegal. She told me they're going to call the cops again, but this time everything will be on tape. When Rick tries to play cop, he's going to make a mistake. And like clockwork, Sunday morning, 3 squad cars rolled up. Rick, practically frothing, told the officers to secure Maya as a danger. Young officer, flustered, actually pulled his gun. Maya didn't flinch. She calmly stated her name, credentials, held out her ID, and told him, "You're threatening a certified tactical instructor for Special Operations Forces. You might want to reconsider." The look on his face, shock then horror, as he realized he'd just drawn on someone who probably outranked every cop in that driveway. Rick melted down, started yelling about threats, and Perfect confessed on camera to abusing his connections and filing false reports. The cops separated him, started asking the right questions. And when Maya showed them the full documentation, surveillance, false claims, fraud, the tide turned in a matter of minutes. Investigation followed. Rick facing charges for filing false reports and fraud. Brenda exposed for years of embezzlement and board manipulation. Within a month, the board was dissolved, both of them indicted, and Maya and I got an apology from the city and a settlement from the HOA insurance. 3 months later, we sat on our front porch, navy blue bench, back in place, sun setting on a neighborhood that finally felt like home. Brenda and Rick, facing bankruptcy, court dates, and social exile. The best part, Maya never raised her voice, never made a threat, never broke a law. She just set the perfect trap and let their own greed and arrogance spring it. What did I learn? 3 things. Never underestimate the quiet ones, never abuse power you don't actually have, and never ever threaten someone when you don't know who they really are. Some bullies get away with it for years until they finally run into a Maya. So tell me, does every neighborhood have its own Maya? Or did I just get lucky? Drop your own HOA horror stories and tell me, do you think justice always finds a way, or did we just get the wildest luck of all?